Hello everyone, thank you for joining me, Amber Bach, for my Week 5 presentation on Public Sector Management and Leadership for Dr. Sundstrom's course, MPA 594. So my public sector agency I decided to go with was the LA County Department of Child and Family Services, and their response to COVID, or the necessary change would be their response to COVID or just a pandemic response in general. Essentially, I saw a news article where a spotlight has been shown on LADCFS due to a recent death of a 4-year-old in the care of her mother who has been on the radar of child social workers. And the response from LADCFS to the COVID pandemic and how it is affecting their services has been called by community members. COVID has hampered home visits for welfare checks, as well as hotline calls were down 40% in April and 21% in July due to the lack of reporting. And this is mainly due to children not being in school, where teachers are mandated reporters and must report signs of abuse. So 3 themes to incorporate within DCFS to aid in this time of a pandemic would be adaptability, motivation, and communication. So beginning with adaptability, we have Lindblom, and basically he's known for the science of muddling through, but essentially he also said that the government is sensitive to the pressures of its constituents. Therefore, policy evolves, responding to a wide variety of interests in the process of mutual adjustment. So when there is a call to action by community members, especially in the death of a young child like this, it puts the pressure on public agencies to implement change faster or more quickly than they usually would. Also incorporated in adaptability, I also thought of, I know McGregor's is typically thought of theory X and Y in motivation, which I will also discuss in motivation, but I also thought about this in adaptability. So because in theory Y, there is a commitment to objectives, and that is a function of the rewards associated with their achievement. Therefore, employees will be more willing to adapt to new organizational objectives to obtain rewards such as satisfaction of ego or self-actualization needs. So according to McGregor's theory Y, if we're working under the assumption that the employees are theory Y, then they will be more willing to change and adapt to these pandemic processes that would be implemented when necessary. I also thought about situational leadership in this theme because the leader must adapt to the pandemic. Obviously, nobody ever thought we would go through a pandemic in our lifetime, and this is what we're dealing with. So you have to adapt to this situation, adapt to your employees. A couple classes ago, we obviously all learned about everyone has different communication styles. We all have different temperament styles. So the leader must be able to adapt to that and recognize some may be more they may be more on the rigid approach or to get the point across, or some people must be more abstract in their communication style. So it's all about adjusting to the situation and adapting to your employees and subordinates. Next, we have motivation. So obviously, Maslow's hierarchy of needs automatically pops into my head. How are the employees motivated? Are they motivated intrinsically? Do they seek satisfaction by purpose, growth, passion? A lot of people that go into public agencies are passionate for helping others and have that altruistic mentality. So most public sector employees are intrinsically motivated. So if we're able to appeal to that, then we can have change come about and be able to implement these pandemic processes quickly and whenever necessary. But also we have to appeal to those that are extrinsically motivated, those that are motivated by pay raises, benefits, prizes, perks. So like I said, in the adaptability and the situational leadership, the leader will have to gauge their employees and figure out how they are motivated so that they can adjust their leadership style and help them move forward through the process. And then also with motivation, it made me think of McGregor's theory X or theory Y. If we are working under the assumption of theory Y and that they are willing to do the work and happy to do the work and confident, then it'll be easier to implement these new pandemic processes. And then finally, communication. I have quite a few theorists here. So starting with Fayol and his 14 principles of management, basically the unity of direction and unity of command shortens those lines of communication, which according to Barnard, which is also on this slide, is necessary for change. And like Barnard said, formal lines of communication are necessary. Everyone should know and have access to the channels of communication, and lines of communication should be short and direct to get the point across and be efficient and productive. And then we have Gulick and Podscorb, and essentially keeping everyone informed under the R of reporting aspect of Podscorb. And then we have Weber. He's more of a rigid approach. There's a hierarchy and you do not cross or skip over authority during communication. This probably wouldn't be the best approach of communication. This would probably be would not be applicable for the present times, just because, like Barnard and Fayol was saying, that needs to be, lines of communication should be short, direct, concise to get the point across and be effective and to be efficient. And then we have Follett's approach. She has that psychological approach, kind of tying in with the temperament styles, and that a message needs to be conveyed in person with that human approach and connection so that they can understand the severity and necessity of change, and so that the point does not get lost in translation, essentially. Sometimes if you open up an email, you just skim it over, move on. But if we were to have a discussion in person and I say, hey, this is what's going on, we cannot have deaths of 4-year-olds just because we're in a pandemic. We need to adjust our situation and figure out a way that we can still take care of these children. And that severity needs to sometimes come across in person with that human connection. Alrighty, everyone, thank you so much for listening to my presentation. I try to keep it short this week, and I'd love to hear what you guys think, if you have any suggestions, advice, and I cannot wait to watch yours. Thank you so much. Have a great week.